Let's take a walk down here in the back pasture. This is about the time of year I start to look for sheds, although I realize and recognize that most bucks have not shed yet at this point. I did see 2 does and a half-rack buck out in my small field, so I know that at least 1 buck has shed half of his rack. But has he done it? You know, he could have shed that antler, but you can see here, check out this trail, deer trail. I mean, it's just pounded down, real easy to walk, and a lot of times that's where you'll find your sheds. Food sources, bedding areas, and of course this is an apple tree. This tree here, I've always called them winter apples. They're always the last to ripen and they cling on. You can see even in February, yeah, most of them are rotted out up top, but if deer gets hard up, they'll eat half of that and stuff. So, and you can see all the deer activity back here is just phenomenal. The other night, I think I saw 10 deer in the one field and 10 deer in the other, but that was all during daylight hours. So I know that there was a lot more that moved in later. And you can see these overhanging branches, they're real low. A lot of times if a buck is gonna drop an antler and he walks by here and that antler even hits a little twig like this, he'll drop that shed right here. Last year I did find a really nice shed back here, but it was later in the year, admittingly. It was actually a day like today, but it was closer to March, so it would have been about a month from now. And but it's such a nice day, why not take a walk? And you can see, I mean, all the raisins. I'm pretty sure they're not actually raisins. I was not sure with the yellow snow, but deer raisins. I am always interested in finding sheds. It's just a pastime of mine. I get almost as excited as finding it when I find a shed as I do actually getting a buck. I'm weird like that, but I'm walking across ice right here, and hopefully it's solid, because if not, I'm going to drop into about 2 foot of water. Man, there's raisins all the way along through here. Holy crap. And I mean literally crap. You know, with the snow on, it's really hard. You know, if it was a spike, a 7 or 8 inch spike, you'd have a hard time seeing it. I did come in here last year and trim a lot of these trees up and just leave them lay. I was like, you know, it makes good rabbit cover and habitat and stuff, and plus they'll feed on a lot of these shoots, you know, when they're first dropped. So let's walk through here and see what we got over here. Actually, we're not going to go that way. We're going to go the way the deer went, because the deer generally travel the path of least resistance. So, and I just hit my head on a branch, so I know a buck would. Yeah, there's a ton of activity through here, just a ton. Yeah, like I said, it is a little bit early for sheds. I wouldn't be totally surprised to come through here and find one, but I'm not expecting to. Well, somebody's been doing some digging there. Digging there. Wow. Sheesh. Deer digging like an excavator right here. What they were digging for, I don't know, but they must have smelled something. People don't know this. Some people don't. A deer's olfactory system, or nose in general, is that of a bloodhound. I mean, they can smell a cadaver 20 feet below water. I mean, it's just incredible. That may be an overstatement, but you know what I mean. Jelly bean. And we're walking through here, and you know, some of these are apple trees. A lot of these are apple trees. This is kind of an orchard in here, but not all of them are apple trees. Some of them are I don't know what you'd call them, thorny locust, like this. That's just a nasty tree. And the only reason I haven't cleared this out of here is because it does make habitat. Like you can see, there's a deer bed right there, okay? It does provide cover and whatnot. So, and as you know, I like to hunt deer with a bow. And if you're gonna have deer on your property, you better have habitat first. Build it and they will come, type of deal. Okay, so we're down at the creek. And yeah, we call it a creek around here. I've been through this in my previous videos. And you can see here, this is a stock trout stream. There are also smallmouth bass in here. The smallmouth bass fishing in French Creek is just phenomenal, at least that I've found. Occasionally you'll come through here and bust a muskie or a northern, but I got to tell you, typically it's all about the trout and the smallies that come in here and whatnot. So you see the tree there. I did a video a long time ago about that tree, and it was embedded into the bank way on the other side over there, and it lost its footing and finally came free. Now what's happening is the stream's coming down and eroding that, and it's going to erode the other side of the property away, which I also own. And my goal is for that stream, you see where it's running there, and it wants to go straight, and then it bounces and comes down here, okay? My goal is for that to run straight right along the highway so that I get all this soil back, and actually this stream bed here will become part of the property again. And boy, what a gravel bed that'll be. Woo-wee. Talk about doing a driveway or something. That'll just be phenomenal. And there are apple trees and whatnot over there. This was an old heifer pasture. Used to run a bull in here with the heifers, you know, back in the hard farming days when we farmed harder, not smarter. Certainly everything was hard then, man. It was 25/8, not 24/7. So let's cut through here and see what we can find. And you can see here, a lot of these are just deer, you know, bedding areas. Usually when you see 3 beds like this together, or 4, it's generally a doe group, you know, a mother and 2 fawns, last year's fawns, or a mother and 3 fawns. It's not unusual for us down here to have triplet drops, you know, have does have 3 fawns, just because our nutrition down here is fantastic. Yes, we do get extremely cold temperatures, but the deer never really starve because I have about 30 apple trees on this property and whatnot, and you can see there's still some apple trees left on the ground. Or apple, you can see there's still some apples left on the ground laying around, and they do come in and they eat them. You or I wouldn't eat them, but they eat them. And I'm out here in my old combat boots, and my feet are getting a little bit on the wet side, although they're doing pretty good for not being sprayed. Now this is a willow tree here that's, man, I'll tell you, I can remember it laying down like that for the last 30, 40 years. And it's really cool. I've come in and I've trimmed up underneath it a little bit. Not too much though. And doe groups will get in there and they'll bed. You know, I've seen 5, 6 does come barreling out of that tree area, so it's really cool. And I don't typically come in here. It is February. I don't typically come in here, but I can see clear down through the orchard. You know, when I look down through here, you can see there's probably no deer bedding in here, so it's not like I'm coming down in here driving everything and it's brothers, mothers, uncles monkeyed out of here. And last year, this is where I found a really nice shed. One of our better bucks was in here on these apple trees. They like to eat the fresh ends off them. And in fact, I'll tell you, it doesn't really matter how much ag they have. It does, but deer need browse to make it through the winter. If they don't have hardwood browse or apple browse and different things like that, they just won't make it. And you can still hear that Farmall end just humming up there. And I fell through the ice, and that felt great.